So,
what are we doing today, Dee?
we're talking about Grand Auditoriums today, Chris.
Great.
Of which we have 3
Yes.
in the studio today.
Counting's good.
Actually, we have more than 3, I think.
Quick.
We have more than 3. We have
Do we?
some
Oh, we
hanging
have
around.
5.
Yes. And I was thinking, mine sounds a lot more mellow
Then it looks.
than it looks.
The
It looks like
maple.
a big jingly jangly, and it's not
Maple.
at all. Those are lovely mid. Yeah, it's beautiful.
I don't have an answer for that.
No, hold on a second. You're supposed to have the answers.
Well, the thing is, like, has a maple neck. You know, different people say different things what the neck does to sound. Everything affects sound. Maple is much harder than mahogany, so it should affect the sound. You've got flame maple backs and sides, you've got a Sitka top, and you've got ebony binding and bevel. But it is more middly than you would think.
Yeah.
And you know they're high quality laminates, so that it's not all solid backs and sides. So you
Right.
do have some, you know, tiny bit of dampening going on there, and that's probably adding to some of the warmth actually, where it's, you know, it's not the standard maple tone. Pretty guitar.
Yeah.
People like this guitar. I think it's the contrast of just the blonde and the black ebony. It's just like really striking. So these 3 are from our Artist Elite series that we came out with 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and just trying to give people a custom vibey type of thing for a more accessible price point. So we kept the backs and sides laminated, but they're really high quality laminates. So even on this Acacia one, you know, the backs and sides are AAA Acacia. A bit of some hand marks there. Same with the flame maple. If you spin that one round, if people can see it, it's beautifully flamed. Even the backs and sides, it's really gorgeous. And on this one, the fingerboard is actually flamed somehow. It's just on the front. Yeah. That's by chance. It's got a lovely pattern to it. And then Tim has got an AG 95, and that is
Cedar top.
just rolled the dice on that one. I hadn't really seen anybody do a cedar with a Acacia ebony. I thought shadow burst on the cedar, you know, would run nice into that. And we came up with a nice tint for the Acacia, so it gives it a bit of depth.
Yeah.
And that's been absolutely brilliant, that one. It's really a great seller and one of the best sellers out of all of Artist Elite. But yeah, they're all Grand Auditoriums.
Nice.
And this one is Acacia, backs and sides. It's got AAA grade Acacia top and backs and sides, shadow burst all the way around, so shadow burst on the sides. So is yours, I believe,
Is it?
right? No, it's not. So this one is. So basically, there's quite a lot of work into this to shadow burst the sides and the back and the top. And our guy who does that's fantastic. He's a great painter.
How many layers of paint are going into something like that?
Different wood takes on finish in different ways, and you have to, you know, due to the pores of the wood. So all wood has different kinds of pores. Where mahogany has quite deep pores, I guess Acacia does. Sitka is obviously straight grain. It's a different type of process, but you know, we'll get into finish later. Well, basically, our job is to build the finish to a level that it's flat. So you're above the grain or the pore or the you know the pattern of the wood. And different woods we use different painting processes. We use very sort of detailed sanding techniques because we get a really clear sort of finish. But could be anything between I'd say 9 and probably 14 coats.
Wow.
So, you know, you have to build it up. You can't whack it on all together. You've got to build it up, take it off, build it up, take it off. So it's a long process. So guitars that are all gloss stay in the painting process for a while. Can be days, you know, because they've got to dry in between. So.
Yeah, wow.
So Grand Auditoriums, which obviously is like a really popular shape now, isn't it? For obvious reasons, they look great. There's plenty of air volume going on to give them lots of tone. Shape was designed by Bob Taylor. I think he did a pretty perfect job getting the balance right and the geometry on the shape. And most companies these days offer a Grand Auditorium, which is great. I think he designed it in the 90s.
And it's smaller than a Dreadnought, right?
It's just proportionally different. So it all depends. We all sort of work to similar molds, but the lower bout on a Grand Auditorium is very, very wide. It's about the same as our Dreads, but it would be wider than some Dreadnoughts. The top is smaller, but probably the defining thing on tonally is it has a narrower waist than a Dreadnought. So that will accentuate the trebles a little bit more than a Dread, where Dread is, it has more depth here, so it's has a wider waist around the sound hole, which does impact, the voicing, and you get more bass response. So these are great all-rounders because you can get enough bass out of them and loads of lovely treble, especially if you're working with some hardwoods.
Yeah, man.
That sounds really nice, actually. With the Cedar,
like
it somehow just really works. This one's really gentle sounding, but it's got a lovely sparkle in the top,
Yeah.
It's got that zing.
Yeah, I hear that. This was the one that does when I've unboxed them today. And
So your trebles, to me, are darker. They're sort of, they don't have the zing these do. A little darker, right?
So what EQ curve am I looking for on this? What am I hearing?
So, oh gosh, it's hard to tell because if the backs and sides were solid, which would be super heavy, you'd have all solid Acacia ebony, right? But it would be like steel, the backs.
Okay.
When you drop a piece of ebony on the floor, it sounds like steel. It's so hard.
Really?
So you'd get like instant response. With it being laminated, you're going to lose some of that. But the Cedar's giving it that sort of openness, which is reacting nicely with the backs and sides, I think, on that guitar. So you're getting lots of bass. More than this one.
Yes.
Different. You get and there's like a wider response on that. This one's...
It's really melodious guitar.
Yeah.
Loads of mids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Do you have a preference for which one you like the sound of the most?
To be honest with you, it's weird because I actually like the look of that. I think I prefer the sound of this.
Really?
Yeah, it's just.
But
yeah,
I think with guitars like this, it's people also listen with their eyes, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And when you walk in a store and there's guitars on the wall, before you've even picked one up, at least one or two's got your fancy straight away, right?
Yeah.
And you gravitate. This is obviously very dark and it's different and it looks. So it's like the aesthetic is going to get you first, and then you start picking stuff up and playing it and see what you like.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's like, and then they'll probably kind of, or some people just know exactly what they want and discount everything else because it's like they've always wanted that guitar. But this Acacia, it's rich and it's lovely looking and it's like looks, it's very cool looking. So Acacia is so the thing around Acacia, which is, the word koa. So koa is obviously an acacia. It's Acacia koa. Acacia koa is from Hawaii. This is Acacia confusa, which is the same species of tree, but you can't call it koa. You shouldn't because it's not from Hawaii. It's from a different island. Okay. So this grows in throughout Polynesia and various parts of Asia. So Acacia confusa is from, the acacia we use is from Taiwan. Or some people call it Formosa koa or Formosan koa.
Right.
Because Taiwan used to be called Formosa. But it's the same species of tree, and there are acacias everywhere. Like Australian blackwood is an acacia as well, which is really lovely, and you get these dark kind of streaks in there, and this golden sort of syrupy look. And but Acacia Koa is the prized. That's the big brand Acacia.
Right. Okay.
You know, harder to get, certainly more expensive, and you know, I think you know getting AAA grade or even higher master grade or whatever is you know, you've got to have a good source of wood. But what we use, Acacia Confusa, we really like. It looks fantastic, and we can only get tops of this grade, like maybe 150, 200 at a time, so when they come through. So, and then we keep it for at least 2 years because it can be a little temperamental acacia.
Okay.
So we like to make sure it's not going to be temperamental once it's out in the world.
No, it's really stunning.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah,
But some people love blondes, you know. Tim,
What?
for example.
I don't actually. I'm more of
Cedar,
a cedar kind of.
a shadow burst guy.
I don't actually like blonde guitars that much, I must admit, but it sounds cool. Looks
Yeah.
cool. It's just not my cup of tea, that one.
Yeah.
But everyone else.
I would gravitate towards cedar. I like
You
the
love
cedar top.
cedar.
I like the
Yeah,
cedar
you
top.
love
I
cedar.
really do.
Loads of people love cedar, don't they? It's just like, you know, it's probably the softest kind of top wood that's used, really. You know, it's a bit softer than spruce.
Yeah. I think the guitar sounds more played in sooner with cedar, that's why.
Yeah,
that's
it's
why I
like
think people
that's what
like
you
it.
get, isn't it?
I think you can get more with spruce if you wait a bit longer.
There's more headroom on it with a spruce top,
Yeah.
so you can dig into it, and it's just the volume is going to keep coming, where cedar may level out or at some
Yeah.
stage quicker.
Straight out the box, cedar guitars always sound
Yeah,
really
it's nice.
cool though, don't they?
But Grand Auditoriums, I think we still just maybe sell more dreads. I haven't looked for a while, but Grand Auditoriums, you know, obviously Taylor being the kind of leader in that, but you know, they've definitely made it one of the best-selling shapes, no doubt. Great all-rounders, great for live, just good for strumming. And when you were playing lead on it before that, on that one, it was really popping, wasn't it? You could hear like
This is pretty cool. You know, you can get. I don't have an acoustic guitar personally with the cutaway. However, this is very in tune. Up the neck, some nice kind of overtones going on. Even much higher than I thought there would be. Still getting some nice stuff. Right at the top. It's a cool guitar.
You don't have a guitar with a cutaway.
Not an acoustic guitar.
Why?
Because aesthetically, I prefer
Full-bodied
full-bodied acoustic guitars.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely though. Like, I get them,
Yeah.
but like for me, if I look at a guitar, same way you look, like you
Yeah.
choose things with your eyes. Like, my favorites are, like
Do you know what? I don't think I have a
don't
acoustic
think-
guitar with a cutaway either. I have an old Loudon, which has got a cutaway,
Yeah.
but recently I probably haven't. Have you?
One. And it was a gift.
But cutaway electronics, acoustic electrics, I think are probably the biggest sellers.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. Because this to me, it's great. And if you were an electric guitar player, wanting to go for like your first kind of more expensive acoustic guitar, this would be the kind of thing you could get very comfortable on this. And because you do, when you look at them and they have the cut, when you have the ability to go up the neck.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you go from electric guitar to acoustic guitar, if you're primarily an electric player, sometimes it's quite alienating having that box that doesn't let you get there. Whereas when you can get there, you can feel more at home on a cutaway acoustic straight away.
No doubt.
So yeah.
No, that's a good point actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it always sort of speaks to me, like, you know, if you're doing an acoustic set or something,
Yeah.
and you're a lead player, then you would pick something like this. But yeah.
But you're more of a traditionalist anyway, aren't you? Like style.
I guess so, style wise, and yeah, I like my acoustic guitars to be, you know, like my FYM 70 or YMR, you know, they're quite. I like my kind of white binding and sunburst, or just like Yeah, I'm not. I'm just like kind of this stuff.
Traditional.
It looks great, yeah, but it's a bit.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would suit me personally, but it looks great and sounds great. And like the armrest, I'm not a huge armrest kind of guy aesthetically because it's.
But you know what? Being in this business for years, you get these cycles.
Mm-hmm.
And before, I'd say this modern. No, I use the word modern acoustic look. I mean, the traditional look was really in, you know, sort of lo-fi, kind of the hipster sort of vibe going on, and parlors. Like parlors just exploded like,
Yeah.
I don't know, 8 or 10 years ago for us. And then recently it's been more of the Grand Auditorium or OM cutaway type of thing, and people, hopefully people getting out and playing a bit more once we can.
Yeah.
There's
That'd be
definitely
nice.
more stage sort of.
Yeah, these you know, I think they would fit right in for a lot of people, like going back to gigging for sure.
Dreadnoughts still the best, in my opinion.
I mean, I'm pretty close. Yeah, like slope shoulder Dreadnought,
12 fret.
12 fret join.
Yeah.
Well, I'm with you on that, but a parlour
Parlour. Nice
Can't
to have
be-
a parlour around the house.
can't be a parlour.
You'd be done. And now your dream has come true on this episode of The Price is Right.
That's another
Yeah.
episode, I think. Yeah.
So Grand Auditoriums 3, we've got Cedar, AG95, Cedar Acacia Ebony. We've got an AGFM 80, which is Sitka and Flame Maple. And we have what was an AGA 99 limited edition. There's only about 2 dozen with ebony, the rest have, which is like that one up there, which is Flame Maple, binding and bevel. But again, we only release these every couple of years when we have, when the wood is ready. When we buy AAA grade when we can find it, and yeah, it's been great.
Beautiful.